Hi kids, if it's your first time here, welcome, please subscribe. You don't know what you let yourself in for. If you've come back, my God, how brave are you? Yet more rambles from this loon that you've got here. At least it's not a half-assed tutorial today. Today I have this.
Alright, so this is the main setup here. This has gotten me a lot of mileage. Basically, I got my analog bass sounds here, I got all my drums and other weirder percussion stuff here, and then sample playback.
So, this or that was the video that kind of started me off and started me on this route. I saw Korg Monotron on Amazon and I thought, oh, synthesizer, I haven't got my synthesizers out for ages. And I picked it up and I played with it, and then I started going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and I came across this video and it inspired me. When I was very much younger, I used to play in bands and I loved playing live, and I never quite found people who I gelled with as I got older. But I always loved to synthesize, and I drifted into electronic music and dance music, and then developed a love for that. And I've been to gigs, you know, and seen various people, and I loved seeing them on stage, but I never thought I could do it myself. But watching this video really inspired me. He had 3 pieces of a kit, something that could fit into a small bag, maybe a laptop bag like I'm using here. However, once I started looking at it, I realised that there was probably no way that I could do that. The kit that he's got there comes to about £1,800. Okay, I couldn't afford that. So I had to look for my own route. I had some kit already about. You know that I've had the ES1, the Electribe ES1 for a long time. But the one bit of kit that I could afford really was the Novation Circuit, and that was the first piece that I bought off of that kind of set, off of the back of that. I obviously had the drum machine, but it didn't really, you look at my early setup videos and they don't really do the job, and they're way too complicated. This made me think, streamlined, something I could put together and get in a bag like I've got now. And look, it's about 3 minutes. That's how long it's taken to pack it up, which is, you know, amazing when you think about that for a live kind of performance. Just to get on and off stage, it's probably quicker than a guitarist setting up, to be brutally honest. And having played guitar in bands, yeah, it can be a lot quicker. Anyway.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted a small, simple setup that could pretty much fit in my backpack. So this totally does do exactly that.
And there you go. That's Ricky and saying exactly the same thing. A small, simple setup that's fit in a backpack. And this setup is quite simple. And there are a few things that I learned along the way and a few things that I picked up. One of them, not just getting the 3 basic elements. So the TD-3 I've got as an equivalent to his Moog, which is about 500 quid on its own, and the TD-3 is 129. I can afford that. The Novation Circuit, obviously he uses one of those. I've got one of those, 250 quid, I can afford that. And the Octatrack is £1,000. I couldn't do that. But playing around and looking around and following other things, I discovered the samples. And I must say, I was very pleased to replace the Electribe with that, simply for the sequencing capability. The Electribe's wonderful, but the samples, sequencing wise, pisses all over it. The other thing that I discovered was power management needed to be done, and I bought a splitter box, guitar pedals splitter box, and amazingly I could plug all of my gear into that, so I only actually need one plug, and that simplifies setup a huge amount, so you don't have to take loads of wall warts around or anything like that, which certainly make things a lot easier and also makes things a lot lighter. So I've weighed my setup and it comes to about 17.2 kilograms, which is not light, but in a laptop bag that you can sling over your shoulder, I'd be pretty much comfortable carrying that anywhere that I can. And the other thing that was interesting watching that Ricky Tinez video was that he kind of explained why he's got 3 bits of kit like that and why he isn't running everything off of a laptop, because that's a natural inclination. You see DJs with laptops now. People have used laptops. 5 years ago I saw people having laptops on stages, and that's wonderful. And I use an app called Caustic, and at some point in the past I kind of thought maybe I could use Caustic on there, but there are problems when all of your sound sources come from one box. One of the things that I really like, the only time I've ever done kind of live electronic music before was when I was jamming with a violin player, and I'd still like to find a lead musician, front person that I could go on stage with, but I'm kind of giving up hope on that. Who wants to couple up with a rambling old middle-aged grey management type like myself? So
I can have the drums of the last track still playing and then start incorporating the samples and bass line of the next track as I go.
And that's what I was inspired by. If you've got one box, yeah, or you've got a laptop, even if you've got a very good control surface, you don't have quite that kind of flexibility. And it's the jamming that I like. It's the taking a track that's kind of a set amount of time and spinning it out for as long as possible. My favourite band of all time, the band that I've seen more than anything else, was Hawkwind, and I like their albums, I like their recorded music, but what I really liked was the fact that you could get them on stage and they would play a track that they would just spin out, and you could get something that's a 5-minute song that took 20-25 minutes. And I can remember when I was on that kind of hippie trail of live music and that kind of thing, hearing Santana saying that this was something that he wanted to do as well, was to be able to take a 2-3 minute track and just spin it out and play for ages. And when I played with a violinist, we actually practiced things. We had sections, so 3-4 minute kind of section things that we would, with themes and stuff in them, that we would then spin out, and I'd feed back things to him and we'd have dropouts in the middle. And that's what I wanted to be able to do, have the almost unlimited flexibility, which is another reason why I like the TD-3, because it's got that random sequence function. So it is possible to have a completely random track right the way from the beginning, but the art is to not let anything drop and have the sound going on. And I've seen the Chemical Brothers and they do it as well. They just keep the music coming, and I'm sure they use laptops in their rigs now, but at least 2 laptops, and I can't afford that. And I know they use outboard gear as well, and I've seen 808 State, they use the outboard gear and the Orb outboard as well as laptops. But for me, on my own, manageable, just this in a bag, 3 items, and with that you can spin it out forever. You can have the drums on one track being blended into the samples coming out of another track, and the completely random bass line. This setup here is absolutely perfect for it. I've got the components, I've got the drum machine in the circuit, I've got the samples, and there we go. That will do the job beautifully. I'll play you the jam for this one in a little while. I'll link it in the video description, so you'll be able to see the jam that I did with this as if I was going to do a set. The next step, because I've now got a few different tracks on there, the next step is going to be to do longer stuff, and that's when I'm going to start having a look at trying to have a go at live streaming. So if you'd be interested in seeing me do some live streaming, definitely I'd want to hear some comments below, and then I'll start looking at how that can do. But in the meantime, have fun, spread it around, leave me comments. Love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye kids.